Okay, in this tutorial we're going to create a basic date dimension table. But first we're going to import data into the data model from the web. So I have this site that has FDIC failed bank lists that can connect to a CSV file. So we're going to go data from the web. I'm going to paste in that link. And I'm going to let it, so there it sees it. And we never want to load, we always want to transform the data. Okay, so let's look at the data set. Text, 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 cert. I don't need this column, so I'm going to remove it. Acquiring institution and the closing date, and it shows that that is a date field. So very little to do here. We're going to close and load to. And I only want to create a connection, and I want to add this to the data model. So I have my 560 rows loaded. And what I want to do is I want to create a date dimension table that drives off of this closing date. And I'm going to use the dates in here. Let me rename this first. Fact table F, bank list, failed. And I'm going to rename it. Okay. Let's right click this query. And I want to reference this query. I'm going to get just the dates. So I'm going to rename this to D for dimension, date list. And all I want out of this is a unique list of dates. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to select this column, and I'm going to remove other columns. Then select this column and say remove duplicates. I want a unique list, and let's sort that ascending. So my dates range from October 13th, 2000 to 2/14/2020. And I'm going to close and load this table for now. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to load it as a connection only. And we're going to add it to the data model. Okay, so 255 unique dates. Now let's look at the date dimensions that we want to add for this table. We want the year, the month number, the quarter, the month end, a short description of the month, the day of the week, and the day of the week name. Just some basic date parameters that I can use for analysis purposes. So now that I know what I want to add, let's open up the date list in edit mode. And before we do this, I should point out that this is not a technically full date list that you would set up for modeling purposes. A full date list would run from the first day of the year of the date earliest date in your data set to the last day of the year of the latest date in your data set, and it would cover every single day. This doesn't, but I'm not worried about that because I'm not going to be using time intelligence functions, and this will give me filtering and analysis capabilities, and it's very easy and it's very quick. So let's add some of the fields I want. Select the date. I'm going to add a column, come over to the date, and we're going to add year. And I want to add the year. Select the column again. Select date. Now I want to add the month. It'll give me the month number. Select the date. And now I want the month end. So I pick month and say end of month. Select the date. Let's add the day of the week. And that starts on a Sunday. Pick the date. Add column, date. And I want to add the name of the day. Now lastly, I want to put in the quarter. And we're going to add the quarter of the year, so we know what quarter it is. So now what I would like to do is I would like to reflect this quarter as quarter for, QTR for, etc., so that it's a easier visualization of the quarter. So select the quarter. Let's go to column from examples, and we're going to say from selection. And I want to, so in this case, I want quarter 4. So we're just going to type in quarter 4, edit to text. What I want is quarter 1, quarter 3, quarter 1, and I scroll down to make sure it spots it. If it doesn't, I correct it and it'll try again, but in this case it's okay. So I say okay, and I now have, and I'm going to name that quarter number. And let's move that over there. So that's my date dimension table, and I am going to close and load that. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to connect these, and I'm going to go into Power Pivot, Manage. Since I loaded these to the data model, you'll see I have the bank and the date list. I'm going to go to Diagram View, and what's our common field? It is the closing date to the closing date in the date list. And now that I'm going to use this as my driver in the pivot tables, I don't want to display this, so I'm going to right click and hide from Client Tools. And I'm going to load it. Enable that. Okay, so now I can just create a pivot table. Alt-NV. I want to use this workbook's data model, and I want it in a new worksheet. And I have my two tables, and they're connected. So what do I want to see? Let's say that I want the quarter number by row. I want the years across the top. And I want the bank name so that it gives me a count. And there you go. Now what I'd really like is I would like the year to be in the rows and the quarters to be across the top. There, that's much better. Okay, so let me just close that. And there's my data set. That quickly, I connected to the internet, downloaded a basic data set, created a basic date dimension table, and have an analysis of count of bank closings by year.